Hello, good morning. Two questions. This deprivation, is it referred to human being or to the world? It is referred to human being, of course. Deprived of what? It's a human being who is deprived. It's not the world. But he's deprived of what? That's a good question. I will respond to this later. In physics, the physicists say, nothing is added to the world, nothing is lost from the world, everything is transformed. C'est in French, c'est rien ne se crée, rien ne se perd, tout se transforme. So human being is the one who is deprived. When we speak about an excavation c'est excavation, we remove, we dig the ground, bring something from in to outside, or we dig the ground, excavation. Is it something happened to the human being as well like this? When you want to build something, okay, you're gonna make foundations, you want to build, everything is like this. The world in recent history, through the pages of history, is getting from the inbursts, like the outburst, into outside. It's not coming in. You're going to say, well, that's very normal. People are building. And the world is being developed. And the development is structures, superstructures. That's very normal. That is true. The thing is, does human being live with harmony with this kind of a super development in the external world or not? I'm going to give a small example. When you drop a rock in the water, big surface, speaking about, for instance, a swimming pool or maybe a lake, you notice from the center there are some ripples, they spread towards the periphery. And the diameter of those circles all depend on the density of the rock that you drop. Does something similar like this happen in a person's conscience? We don't know. Another example, this is speaking about horizontal spread. When it comes to a force that originates from the center, like this, it bursts towards the external world, much like a magma in the center of Earth or like a volcano. We call this force centrifugal force in physics. The opposite, when it's coming from outside to the center, it calls centripetal force. Do these forces exist in a person's mind? Bear in mind and be also reminded that any action in this world, in the external world, with our hands, manually, electrically, with some energy, mechanically, or any kind of energy. All of these outside, they were in a mind. The mind that decides. And the mind is captive by the sacredness of religion. Rest, to know. Are you talking about the real religion, that is the divine religion, referring this to God, or a man-made, unorganized religion? Those forces exist in a person's mind. We're going to explain this. Human being, before his appearance in this world, he was brought forth from nothingness into existence. Heaven, earth, everything was into nothingness. it was in these neon pre-existence, was brought forth into existence. How? God mentioned this in one verse. He said by words. He said to heaven and earth. He didn't say human being only. In other words, all what is constructed, we don't use the word constructed. Constructed necessitates a time to build. Those words, heaven and earth, are here. Be to be. So he said to heaven and earth, come voluntarily, willingly or unwillingly. In other words, so they say we come willingly. In other words, the question that might arise, they heard. Of course, if they didn't hear or they were preoccupied by something, they won't be able to hear those voices, God's words. So there was a receptivity. Here is only words to understand that the world is built under receptiveness. When a human being is receptive, that's how the world is built. But why the world today, what you see the opposite. You don't see the process of receptiveness, you see the process of offensiveness. Maybe you exaggerate when you say offensive. If it's not receptive, it doesn't mean necessarily it's an offensive. You can say you are a transmitter instead of being a receptor. So, heaven, earth, human, wherever, all of the above, they were receptive when they were in the pre-existence. Now you say, what are you talking about? Pre-existence, listening, conceiving, receptive, that's nothingness. Nothingness vis-a-vis the human being. Pre-existence is you. Pay attention. In monotheism, Tawheed, when you study Tawheed, the word monotheism is not exactly the translation. God does not see you the way you see the world. You are characterized by time, space, and manner. God sees you in a pre-existence. He sees you after the existence. He sees you the same thing when you are a drop of sperm. He sees you when you are in your mother's womb. He sees you when you are 10 years old. He sees you when you are in your grave. And he sees you. You understand? There is no characterization when it comes to the Creator. So pay attention how we only exclude, we don't describe the divinity. We exclude, say, tanzih. It's not as you see. God gives you one aspect of the divinity, we call it likeness, tashbih. He gave you the other aspect, he told you tanzih, which is unlikeness. So he gives you something that to feel satisfied and to understand and to approach. But real divinity, you cannot understand it. You understand it through unlikeness, tanzih, as we say, tasbih, etc. Man, etc. Now, receptive. Human being, he said, when he said willingly or unwillingly. Willingly, in other words, worshipfully. You come to the Creator. Do you have another destination? Can you choose? Go ahead. What are you going to do? He told you that the direction you are going to is leading you to the Creator. You want to do this. If you are taken like this, you want to do this, the same thing as a wild animal does not want to surrender to its owner. It's going to just cause some injuries. Go ahead. So your objective, even if you sin, even if you do anything in your mind, is with the Creator. What had really sinned? You know, your hands, your eyes, your mouth, some part of the body that sinned. But your mind, you know that direction is to the Creator. This person is always under God's names, divine names. So you're going there anyway. It's up to you. to choose voluntarily and voluntarily. Involuntarily, you're going to lose. Anyway, so Prophet Hud described this exactly as it was, this dimension as it was in heaven. He said, كل دابة هو آخذ بناصيتها. Chaque animal, human being, but the dabba is anything that walk on the ground. You say God is seizing it from the forehead. آخذ بناصيتها. إن ربي على صراط مستقيم. God is on the straight path. So understand this, that you're going to the Creator. Now, the Prophet described three dimensions. The dimensions relationship. He described the first dimension in terms of relationship. What we know in our life, we know only relationship or coexistence with the human being, but we have no clue. Is there a relation with the self? Intrapersonal, rarely. Before this interpersonal with people, as I said, rarely. Is there a relationship with the Creator? Yeah, we worship God, etc. He said, in three dimensions. The first one is theo, taken from Latin, which is God. Theo-ethical dimension, which is with the Creator. The second one is a psycho-ethical dimension, and the third one is a socio-ethical dimension. Say, اتق الله حيثما كنت. You say, fear God. You say, حيث in Arabic, you say, anywhere you want, but the meaning, exact meaning is not speaking about the three characteristics. Time, space, and manner. Any situation, anyhow, anywhere, accept, welcome this. Okay, we talk only about this. How do you welcome the sublimity? How do you welcome Lordship? He said, worship God as if you see Him. Worship God. You are going towards God. As we mentioned about, you are coming willingly or unwillingly. You are going to the Creator by trying to see. You worship during the prayer and you see. Well, I can't. What we're talking about? I see the wall in front of me. I see a tree. Well, therefore, the eyes are inadequate. They transfer the power to the brain, to the mind, and the mind starts being philosophically like smart to understand. Then the mind becomes inadequate. Then this process that was as pointing a view as a transmitter, it rebounds and it becomes submissive. Then you show your inadequacy. Say, if you cannot see Him, then He sees you. When you are submissive to a view, you're getting back to the rock. I know it's a little hard and I know I zigzag with the topics. Getting back to the rock that you dropped. The water accepted the rock and gave those ripples. Human being, when he is submissive to this Lordship with his worship, how far those ripples they go. If he accepted Lordship with worship sincerely, do you measure do you measure the ocean? Do you measure the earth? You're talking about the universe. That's your mind, which is the microcosm. It's going to be identical with the macrocosm. This is how your mind is. So therefore, we are talking about centrifugal force. This is centrifugal. This is how it's blown. Therefore, this is how the mind. But do we see this in our world? It's not exactly like this. We don't see this force. The person is not welcoming Lordship with humility, is not welcoming Lordship with humbleness. He is welcoming an institution. He is welcoming most of the time the self. What does it do, the self, to the person? Earlier, under the Lordship, it gives him expansion. Under the self, it gives him constriction. this is where stress is. We don't like it. All of this snobism that you see, all of this, we just use it. But how it is. Constriction. The other one is giving expansion. So the two forces, this person, the constriction, what does it do to the person? This person works harder by expanding. This person and this process, that's what you see in the world. The world is in a constant deprivation, the person excavation, the world is from in to out. Building with the person is into deprivation. Deprivation of the self, of course. Does that mean that the other one who is submissive to lordship is going to just lie down, put the pillow, it doesn't work? No. This one, when he builds the world, the action starts from the self. It is his intention is the self. He feels the self, inner self, in the inner world, and he sees his reflection in the outer world. The other one, he points the eyes, he sees the deprivation, he wants to get to be recuperated in the external world. You see, the world is getting developed. A long time ago, when they show you in the movies, wherever, those slaves, and they show you pyramids, how they build and this, you see the deprivation of each citizen, the intention or the willpower of each citizen in the hand of one or few elite. And they built. All of them. They have to be deprived. Today, it's not like that. Those people, when they retire, at the end of the day, they know they have been used, abused physically. Today, no. Humanity is brainwashed. It's a slave who is satisfied, as they say in expressions, say the biggest threat to freedom is when the slave thinks that he is free. Because it's satisfied, that's it. Conclusion. The world is in a constant deprivation. You see, the world is being externalized a lot. There's a big difference between this person, as I said, the one who is welcoming lordship with worship. The expansion is not against the will. The expansion is built by itself, is big, the expansion by itself, and he is in the center. Unlike the other case, the one who is welcoming the self, the institution, the idolatry of the institution, or far from lordship, not being, there is a constriction, there is a deprivation, a feeling of deprivation. This person, when he start building, supposedly, seeing this kind of expansion has nothing to do in his inner world. It's in the external world, not inside his inner world, and he is swept by this expansion. You make circle. The world is like this. Whether planets or human being, again, everything is similar to what's happening over there. When you are in the middle, the circle doesn't affect you if you are in an independent middle. You try to be eccentric or a little bit. In the radius you go, outside, the circle will affect you. As far as you go, as the circle will affect you. The circle is not only about the 24 hours. There is a circle and there is an epicycle. Epicycle is this and turning like this. This is happening exactly. And also like this. Centrifugal, centripetal, but cases where the centrifugal, the word this expansion is resulted by itself with the stability of the self. The other one is resulted after harsh work and thoughts, and the person is swept away to the epicenter, is not in. He's swept away outside, eccentric, and he has with the feeling of being oblivious. Heart to grasp this kind of perhaps analysis, I should thank you for your attention, and God bless you. See you soon.